In this video, I'm going to be talking about something called the consensus algorithm. Now, the consensus algorithm is the reason as to why the blockchain is a highly celebrated thing. Now, why do I keep talking about the blockchain? I talk about the blockchain because of where I'm from. Well, I'm born in Uganda, and due to our financial systems, due to the way generally the economies are being mismanaged, and you realize that a lot of people don't have access to a lot of financial institutions. A lot of people cannot play on the same playing field, at least on a similar playing field as other people in the rest of advanced economies across the globe. So the reason why I'm fascinated about blockchain technology is because it presents those opportunities. It allows people to be able to at least take back something that was taken from them, at least the aspect of finance. If we're able to control our finance, if we're able to control the value of our currencies through a legitimate, decentralized, immutable, unchangeable system, then that's the most ideal thing, and that's the reason why I think blockchain is very exciting. So I think a lot of people should get into it. Now, the consensus algorithm, like in blockchain technologies like Bitcoin, there's something called proof of work. I've talked about it in my previous video. In Ethereum uses proof of work as well. Currencies like EOS use something called proof of stake. Proof of stake, you don't actually need any hardware to mine your tokens. In proof of work, you need. But the reason why consensus is important is because it solves a problem called the double spend problem. By the way, proof of work, proof of stake, and currencies that use zero knowledge proof, those algorithms, they are what we refer to as the consensus algorithm, and they help to solve a problem called the double spend problem. Now, the double spend problem is where a user, Bob, wants to send X amount of currency to a user, Alice. The system, Bob cannot send that X amount 2 times. And the system achieves this through a consensus algorithm by utilizing the power of the decentralized technology of the blockchain. Now, when Bob sends X amount to Alice and another random user that's mutually exclusive sends a transaction at the same time as Bob, what happens is that if the system delays to determine which transaction came first, then Bob can leverage that opportunity to lock in another transaction, as the system is still trying to decide between Bob's transaction and the other mutually existing transaction which came first. So Bob can lock in a second transaction, such that by the time the system starts to lock in the positions, then Bob has 2 inputs as opposed to 1 input. So now, the consensus algorithm solves that problem through having a decentralized network that quickly determines which transaction came first. So if Bob's to send a transaction and there's another mutually existing transaction on the blockchain that has been sent at around the same time, then the algorithm will determine instantaneously which transaction came first. So there's no lag. There's nothing for Bob to leverage on and send 2 transactions. And of course, if 2 transactions were to be sent as opposed to 1, then if the 2 parties exchanging those transactions are accomplices, then obviously they would share the profits. And if that happens within a system, then the system is no longer trusted, and it cannot be a system that complies with the rules of the blockchain. And on that tangent, that takes us on something else called the Byzantine fault tolerance. And if you stick around, I'll do another video explaining what the Byzantine fault tolerance problem is. Take care, guys.